Okay, Jesus is just a spin-off of pagan deities. We can't trust, and these are two different things, I suppose. And I know you've given an excellent talk on this, which we can link to as well. But the New Testament documents are ultimately unreliable. So there's two objections.
Two objections. So with regard to the first one, it is simply not true that, I mean, I don't know what you mean by Jesus. What was the term? Rip-off that was used to pagan deities?
A spin-off.
Spin-off. I would want to, I mean, I understand that's your objection. I would like to see what you mean by that and what your evidence is for that, because the evidence is actually that that's not true. You often hear on the internet claims like Jesus is just a redressed version of Horus, for example. And you'll hear claims like Jesus was born on December 25th, Horus was born on December 25th. No, he wasn't. We don't have any Egyptian records saying, we've got lots of Egyptian records. None of them say Horus was born on December 25th. This is just an internet rumor that is false. It does not match up to the archaeological and literary evidence that we have. And the same is true of all of these claims. Now, does Jesus have certain similarities to various deities that have been worshipped by other cultures? Sure, because he's a god. Duh. If he were a man, he wouldn't. But he's a god. And when humans think about gods, you know, that term has to have some content. So, well, what are some attributes of gods? Well, they're more powerful than us. They're likely smarter than us. Usually, in most mythologies, they're smarter. They can do things we can't. So they aren't bound by death the way we are. And they answer prayers. Okay, that's just what it means to be a god. So, of course, Jesus is going to have similarities to gods. The question is he a true god or not? And the evidence is that he is, which gets us to our second thing, the New Testament documents not being accurate. Actually, and we don't have a lot of time to go into this, but the New Testament documents are among the best sources found in the ancient world of anything. There was a Protestant scholar around a century ago named Akin Sherwin-White, who was raised in this school that was popular in New Testament circles at the time that was very dismissive of the historical value of the New Testament texts. It stemmed from a school of thought in Germany known as the Turbine School. And he decided, and it was very influential in the thought of the day, but he decided, I'm going to check out Luke. You know, he wrote the Gospel, he wrote Acts, and I'm going to check out everything that Luke says that can be checked. You know, I'm going to compare it with with archaeological inscriptions. I'm going to compare it with what ancient historians say. And he found Luke was astonishingly accurate, even on minor details, things you could not look up on Wikipedia in the day and like find out what's the official title of the kind of official that runs this town in this obscure part of Asia. What do they call that guy? Is he an Asiarch or what is he? Well, Luke is right in the titles he gives to obscure local officials. Also, this is something I did myself a few years ago. Stanford University has an ancient mapping system. It's like the equivalent of Google Maps, only for the Roman Empire. It's called the Orbis System. And I believe the URL is orbis.stanford.edu. But what it lets you do is put in your destination and where you're coming from, and it will map the route for you and tell you how long it will take you to get there by different modes of travel. So what I did was I listed every location in the book of Acts that Paul and the others traveled between and how long Luke said it took them to get from point A to point B. And I then looked everything up on the Orbis database, and Luke is right every time.
Wow.
So the only way to explain this is Luke or someone else in Paul's company is keeping a travel diary of where they started, where they went, and how long it took them to get there. And they go, dozens of places. So, and it's all accurate. And so this shows that Luke was a very careful historian in writing the book of Acts, not just with regard to like the titles of local officials, but the travel times. And again, there was no Google Maps in the first century. You couldn't look this up. He was keeping these records or someone in Paul's party was keeping these records as they were moving. And so Luke has extreme attention to detail. And if we know this is how he handles his historical materials in Acts, then by extension, he should be applying the same level of care to his gospel. And so it was no surprise that A.N. Sherwin-White concluded not only is Luke a reliable historian, he is a world-class historian who should be taken very seriously. And so as a brief sort of lightning round answer, that's probably all I can do with that. But I would say, actually, the evidence indicates that Jesus is not a spinoff of pagan gods, and the Gospels are historically reliable.
If you like that clip, be sure to like and subscribe. Cheers.